right, Dolphin fans, so we got the Jets today. Another home game. Weather is not supposed to be spectacular. I live in Maryland, and the same stuff that's coming up from Florida is coming up here, and it's supposed to hit us in the middle of the game. So, Dolphins are gonna play this game without Tyreek Hill, Xavier Howard, and Javon Holland. Those are the three main that are out right now. Xavier Howard, I mean, we've kind of become accustomed to not counting on him. I would just consider him permanently week to week, game to game. You just never know when he's going to have a groin or a thumbnail or a chipped tooth that's going to keep him out of a game. The Tyreek thing, Holland, again, important player. I have no problem with us resting these guys, and that's where I'm getting to with Hill. Look, we've seen... I don't want to say I'm happy that Hill is out, but it's a good test for McDaniel. Can you devise a game plan without the one guy? Just because one guy is out shouldn't mean the offense absolutely implodes. Run the ball, Mike. Absolutely, please run the ball. It's not that difficult. We're averaging collectively over 5 yards a carry. Achan is still like at 9.2 yards a carry. That's obscene. You got no Tyreek. If it's pouring rain, the field conditions are not going to be good at all. It's not difficult, man. You've got a stable of running backs. You've got a bunch of running backs that are ready, rocking and rolling and ready to go. Ready to rock and roll and go, you know what I'm saying. Whether or not he does that or not, I don't know. Are we going to use Claypool or not today? You never know with Mike. Hopefully, his answer for Tyreek being out is not throwing 3-yard bubble screens to Waddle 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Hopefully that's not his answer. Defensively, it's going to be kind of an interesting game because, you know, the defense has been playing really, really well. It's been getting better and better and better as the season goes on until the last 4 minutes against the Titans where, other than the answer of playing to prevent defense, I have no answers for what happened there on the field the other night against the Titans. So, if the conditions are not great, and then Zach Wilson, right? I mean, he balled out last week. We have seen Zach Wilson play decent at times, sometimes even good at times, and then we've seen him be horrible. The thing that surprised me last week when we ran the prevent defense against the Titans is that normally what we've been doing in those tough situations is blitzing. So it don't make any sense why we didn't utilize it then. Maybe we'll utilize it today, and I keep saying it, just stay healthy, but we need this win. This one, I don't want to say it's a must win, but after I ranted and rated, it's I was up till 2 in the morning with the hockey game. What do you want? I can't talk. After I ranted and raved last week, when I woke up after that loss, the realization hit me that we still control the top seed to the AFC. You win your last 4, doesn't matter what anybody else does, we will be the top seed. Now, at the beginning of the season, if you had told me we had these 4 games left, and if we won them all, we would be the top seed in the AFC, every single one of us would have taken it. Nobody in their right mind would have thought that we had like a game to play with here or there when it comes to playing the Cowboys and the Ravens and then the Bills. All right, so you take it collectively as the season. As of right now, we have a great opportunity to take last week and just make that a blip. Because before that, we beaten all the teams supposed to beat, and we lost to the good teams, right? Every team has that game where they look back on the course of the season and go, I don't even know what happened there. Okay, we have an opportunity to make that happen here. Now, it ain't going to be easy. There's no easy road here. We could just as easily lose all 4 games as we can win. Which leads me to the final point. Tua, I'm begging you. I'm begging you in the immortal words of Daryl Hall, baby, please, please, Tua, smart and safe. If you drop the snap, fall on it. Don't try to pick it back up and be a hero from the 3-yard line. Fall on the ball. It's that simple, okay? Don't be like the Titans returner who thought he was going to take the freaking punt at the 5-yard line or wherever he was and be a hero. We don't need you to be a hero. All we need you to do is not screw it up. And that goes the same to Mike McDaniel. If it's 3rd and 3, Mike, the worst running back on the team is averaging 5 yards a carry. If you can't get the 3 yards on 3rd and 4th down combined, we ain't winning nothing anyway. It's easy. Take this. It's so easy. It's so simple to win in December. You play good, strong defense. You don't go away from what's been working for you. And on offense, you take what the other team is going to give you and you play ball control. Because it ain't rocket science. By this time of the year, people's offensive lines are beat up, but the defensive lines are gassed. Despite the fact that we have 4 starters out on the offensive line last week, we were still pounding it for 5 yards a carry. And they can't pass protect. Run the ball. Be smart with the ball, and Tua, I swear to God, if you throw one of those, I thought the wide receiver was going to be over there, but he was over there, pick 6s. I will float down there in my kayak, because that's how much rain we're going to get, and we'll have to kidnap you like they kidnapped Marino in the movie that I can't remember the name of right now, because I was up till 2 in the morning streaming hockey. Dolphins, I've made videos this year talking about why you're the same old Dolphins, and I've made videos this year talking about why the Dolphins are going to win in December. Which version of me are you going to prove right today? All right, so 24 to that was weak. All right, 24-0 Miami at halftime. If you watch the pregame, I just want to be clear that I do the pregame before the game. It was just coincidence that the first play that McDaniel run was a screen to Waddle. So, but it's working out. The offense didn't look so good to start the game, but let's give McDaniel credit where credit is due. Number one, he has figured out that Jalen Waddle exists. It took Tyreek Hill being out injured for him to realize that we have this guy Waddle, but it's working out pretty well. And then I don't think we've thrown the ball in the red zone. I do not believe we've thrown the ball. Maybe the one throw inside the 20, maybe, but certainly inside the 10, it has been run. And Mostert has 2 touchdowns to show for it. And before the last drive, whatever the Jets got there at the end there, the Dolphins have 3 touchdowns and the Jets had 3 yards. Their offensive line, it's not... I feel bad for Wilson and I feel bad for Simeon. I feel bad Rodgers ain't coming back. I mean, their offensive line is worse than Tua's ever has been. Like, Tua's played on some offensive lines where he didn't have time. But these dudes are taking 2 steps back, and by the time they're trying to take a 3rd step, there's 3 Dolphins all over them, smothering them. Zach Wilson has thrown the ball, like, purposefully, like, into the ground 3 times, and the refs are like, yeah, there was a receiver somewhere in the area. It's not intentional grounding. So I feel bad for him. I mean, the offensive line is worse than bad. It's just brutal. And so Wilson goes out. He had to go to the locker room to get hydrated because he's been getting the shit beat out of him. Simeon comes in, and he ends up on the last play with a face full of dirt. So it's 24-0. The Dolphin defense, especially Bradley Chubb, they definitely look like they're still pissed off about how the game ended last week. That's good. Stay pissed off. Stay pissed off. That means we should win this game, and then we're going to have 3. And I know it's Dallas, Baltimore, and Buffalo. I grasp that. I do. All right? That is not an easy 3 games to win. 2 of them are at home, number 1. Number 2, there's at least a 50% chance that at the end of the year, Buffalo will be already eliminated from the playoffs. Kind of a chance of that happening. Play like this and we're going to win games. But you have to play the full 60 minutes. You got to play the whole game. All right? Mike, so far, he's calling a nice game. There's only been 1 or 2 of those little screens. Tua threw a couple of passes. He almost got Waddle killed. Waddle jumped up, made a catch, and he couldn't breathe for a couple of minutes, and he got called back on holding. And the Dolphins' offensive line, the pass protection is okay, but it's 4 or 5 yards every carry. I mean, it's at least 3, 4, 5 yards every carry. We're not like getting stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. You just keep running the ball. I don't know who's healthy. I don't know if Jeff Wilson Jr. is active, and I don't know if Chris Brooks is active yet. But hopefully we don't wear Mostert and a Chan out. Mostert's been getting most of the carries here. All right, Dolphins. Finish this off. All right, Dolphin fans. There we go. 30-0. Dolphins pitch a shutout on the Jets, and as far as I know, we stayed healthy. I don't remember seeing anybody come off the field. Didn't see anybody that didn't come back, although you never know with the offensive line because they kind of don't tell us about those things. Other than that, I mean, it was really all done in the first half, right? Second half, we got a couple of field goals. McDaniel did irritate me a couple of times with some of the play calls. There's one particular sequence, it's like 27-0, and he called the reverse and then the bubble screen back to back, and we ended up 3rd and 12, and that's one of the times I think we had to punt. And it's just like, it didn't cost us today, but it's just like sometimes he has these moments where you just want to shake him and just yell, "Run, Mike, run." But for the most part, we did. Really can't complain. The defense obviously took it personal, what happened last week in Tennessee, as they well should. Tua played a good, clean game, I think 21-24. One of those incompletions was a dropped pick six. Other than that, he played a pretty good game. A couple of placement issues, like the ball that he threw high to Waddle, and when he came down, he had trouble breathing. But I guess they gave him a new lung in the blue tent, and we got to come up with a name for that because they call it the blue injury tent, but we've got to call it a name for that because guys go in there and they walk in the tent with one arm and they've got an eye dripping down and the leg it's just a flesh wound, and they come back out. Maybe they got a clone machine in there. That might be what it is, because they come out and they're like, "Hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to play." And you're like, "Weren't you dead a minute ago?" So we need to come up with a new name. The Transmogrifier. For you Calvin and Hobbes fans, Calvin and Hobbes, we're going to start calling the blue tent the Transmogrifier. If you know, hit the like button if you know what I'm talking about. Because it's kind of true. It's kind of true. So, all right, short and sweet. Like I said, mostly all the action was in the first half of this one. And now we move on, and we got Dallas. And I ain't taking anything for granted. We all know the story. We haven't beat a team with a winning record yet. We also have not played a team with a winning record yet at home. That's what I'll say about that. I haven't watched a lot of Dallas Cowboys football, so I am not the person to sit here and tell you exactly what we should do and the matchups and all of that. I'll have to look into that during the week. But obviously, we're now 2-1 this year in December. I know around here, I've even said this in videos, I know usually when you're the Dolphins, the last thing you want to hear is your destiny is in your own hand, because we have thrown up in our own hands for decades now. That said, our destiny is in our own hands. Win the 3 games. I know it's a big ask. But if you win the 3 games, you get a bye. Okay? Not just the home field through the playoffs, but a bye. And when you're the only team sitting there that week resting your body, and the next week you've got to play a team that just had to kill themselves somewhere else, that advantage is just so huge that we need to win these games. It's right there for us. Worst case scenario, if we lose one of those games, I just got distracted. Kyle is watching one of the 2 endings of the games here. Win the games. Win the games, Dolphins. All right, I totally lost my train of thought. He's watching the end of, Houston went to overtime and Cleveland scored to tie the game. We need those teams to lose, because one of the teams we would have probably liked to avoid in the playoffs possibly playing is Buffalo. That's what I was going to say. Is worst case scenario, if we don't get the 1 seed, well, it just depends. If we lose to Baltimore, right? If Kansas City wins the rest of their games, we would then become the 3 seed, most likely, possibly the 4 seed. So let's just revert back to winning all those games and not worrying about needing help elsewhere. That's what we need to do. All right, Dolphins, 30-0. You love to see it. It was exactly what we needed after last week. And now, let the real games begin.